We all say we want to be wealthy. We put in the hours, build the plans, and inch closer to the goal line. But then, right on the precipice of a breakthrough, an alarming number of people sabotage themselves. They might sink their cash into a losing investment, they procrastinate on a winning business idea, or suddenly drain their savings on a completely irrational impulse purchase. It's easy to blame a lack of discipline. We often attribute these failures to poor financial literacy, a weak will, or simple laziness. However, neurological observations suggest the brain favors the predictable safety of being broke over the chaotic uncertainty of getting rich. These self-destructive habits represent a survival mechanism misfiring in the modern world, a biological error that triggers when the stakes get too high. To understand why the brain does this, we have to look at its evolutionary role as a prediction machine. Its primary mandate is to keep you alive by mapping and understanding your environment. This chart represents the brain's comfort zone. Chronic financial struggle is objectively stressful, but it creates a familiar baseline. Your nervous system already knows how to survive this specific environment. Financial progress introduces a flood of new variables. It brings shifting social dynamics, new responsibilities, and different risks, all of which destroy that predictable baseline. The amygdala, the brain's fear center, cannot distinguish between the uncertainty of a new tax bracket and the uncertainty of a predator in the brush. Financial growth triggers a biological alarm. Because the amygdala sees the unknown as a mortal threat, it initiates a fight-or-flight response to stop the progress. Once that alarm sounds, the brain deploys an emergency brake called the status quo bias. This bias drives subconscious decisions designed to drag you back down, to the familiar hardship you are already calibrated to survive. This defense mechanism is anchored by the identity trap. If your identity is tied to the struggle of making ends meet, your subconscious mind views sudden success as identity death. To the subconscious, losing that identity is a threat on par with losing your physical life. A terrified nervous system is essentially executing a biological rescue mission, using these financial failures to pull you back to the only environment it knows how to keep you alive in. This is why get-rich-quick methods often fail. They act as a massive system shock, triggering a biological response that destroys the wealth to protect the person. Bypassing these alarms requires incremental exposure, a way to move towards success without alerting the amygdala. You start by saving just a few dollars a week. This proves to your nervous system that the act of accumulating Remy is safe. You normalize the concepts of finance by reading about them until they feel boring rather than intimidating. Familiarity removes the threat. These compounding microactions pull your brain's safety baseline higher, avoiding the panic response entirely. Eventually, the baseline shifts. Your brain finally registers that having money is normal, predictable, and safe. Once wealth becomes the boring baseline, your survival instinct flips. Your brain begins fighting to keep you rich with the same ferocity it once used to keep you broke.